Fuck them guys, man. Insane.
All right. Welcome in, everybody. It is Saturday morning, right at 10:30. So you already know what that means. Pay for play, coming at you live. Daily Bread Media's college football and basketball outlets for every Saturday morning, highlighting the best betting slate of the day, especially if you like the sports better than the NFL. This is the number one spot to be coming. As usual, I got JD, Goose, Sam, and Roddy with us. We're locked in each week here. We appreciate everyone who's tapped in and supporting Daily Bread Media. We're live on Paid for Play on Twitter. If you want to be featured in today's show, hit that link up in the title and you'll jump over to the YouTube page and you'll be featured with Big Game James and Eddie. But we got, as usually planned, 6 games to talk about. Then we'll give you our full card to let you know every single play that we're betting on. Some might have a CVS receipt today, word on the street, but plenty of options. Be dropping your best bets. Drop any questions from player props, DFS. You already know we got you covered on all outlets. You can even go fantasy. That's strictly JD. But if you do have a college fantasy, we respect that grind. I'm not there yet. Maybe one day. But
God
JD,
bless you.
how you doing on this beautiful Saturday morning?
I'm doing great. It's like I love this slate. I can't get over how much I love this slate. The games at the top, I guess you have a bone to pick with them. Like there's not necessarily a marquee game, but there's so many games that are just like they should be competitive throughout. And it's like starting in the morning games and going all the way throughout the day. So every single screen is going to be on a good game today for as long as we can possibly handle it. So I'm very excited.
Goose, is that a blanket or a flag over your shirt?
That's a towel. I got the towel ready. I'm Rutgers plays at 7:00 Eastern, but I'm already there mentally. I'm sitting in the stadium right now, broadcasting live. That's how I feel. But other than that though, I like JD saying, let's make some money so that I can keep buying some drinks at the stadium.
You're gonna need them with that weather and the 34-point total. Goose, I got questions after segments. I'm not going to grill you, but I got some Iowa Rutgers questions because that game needs to be talked about. Didn't make our 6-pack of games. Sam, your squad didn't make it either, but how are you feeling?
It was probably the best I felt after a win last week in the last 2 years, honestly. Just feels like program's moving in the right direction. Kind of got some energy back, got some confidence in the team again. We'll see how it goes throughout the year, but I'm with everyone else here. I love the slate today. I've heard a lot of slander throughout the week that this is not the best slate. I don't know why people are saying that. I'm just of the mindset that we only get 13 of these Saturdays for the year, so let's just enjoy every single one.
Roddy, must be music to your ears hearing an LSU fan saying that's the best he felt in the win in the past 2 years, week 3. Dub.
I mean, look, it's a good win. It was a good win. You know what I'm saying? Mississippi State is no slouch. I'm not going to say that. And they're trying to rebuild there. Look, I'm one of those guys that's not going to be incredibly hard on Brian Kelly. I know it takes a 3-year period. I'm such a hater that I was actually watching all of Nick Saban's losses compilation in Alabama earlier this week. So I saw those losses to Georgia, and, Southern Miss and ULM, I saw those losses. So it happens, it really does. So shout out to Sam, man. Let Sam be happy, man. Let him be happy.
Not allowed.
It's not even like it. I know it wasn't like the biggest win, but it was just like every win under Ed Ogeron the last 2 years felt like they were trying to just stop or hemorrhage the bleeding. Like it was like just save the program, like just get this win and try and steady everything. Now it's like building on something. You're supposed to beat Mississippi State by 2 touchdowns, and they haven't the last 2 years. Or
real quick, so how did you feel about him in full Miami gear?
Oh God. I mean, if they want to bring that problem into the program, go for it.
Well, his son's already there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's already trickling in, man. He's the funniest guy ever, man.
Dude, he looks like the tannest human being on the face.
I don't think he sleeps inside.
he has he's Ray Baker all the time, and I mean he's doing what he does best. He's hopping around College Station with some blonde bombshell on his arm. So I mean he's doing what Ed Orgeron does. I'm just glad he's not doing it for my program anymore.
Oh, he's so funny.
No better way to open up the show. If you're on Twitter, if you're on YouTube, make sure to give us that like, follow, retweet, subscribe. We got 6 games, 2 at the noon slate, 2 at the 3:30 slate, 1 at the 7 o'clock, and 1 at the later slate that we'll cover. So drop any other games that you guys want us to get into. Maybe we'll give some quick hits if it isn't in our full cards that we wrap up, where we touch on games that we didn't preview. Quick hits there as well. Drop your best bets. But let's get into the first one of the day. We got Clemson laying 7.5 at Wake. This just made it because it was like ranked versus ranked at this point, right? Because this has a potential to be a disgustingly gross game here. You got a total sitting up at 55.5, where that's just saying one thing. Clemson's defense is not for real. If they really think 55.5 is going to be hung up here. JD, I know you've been digging into the Coastal or the ACC. What do you got for us?
Yeah, huge game. Next 2 weeks are pretty much Clemson season, if they are legit, because they got NC State next week. Wake Forest didn't look very good last week, but I think that was pretty obvious look-ahead spot. This is a huge game for both teams. Some huge injury concerns, mentioning that Clemson defense, and they're not giving us good updates. There's 5 starters on Clemson that may not play in this game. The 3 defensive linemen, 1 should be back. He had a death in the family, but then you still have Xavier Thomas and Tyler Davis. They said they're not going to let us know till game day. I've been checking right now, and there's still no news on those guys. So go ahead and keep checking them during warmups, which is to see if they're there. They also had a cornerback go out and their starting safety go out last week. They didn't play. So I'd be very concerned there, because normally I would lean towards Clemson. They've won 13 straight against Wake Forest. Usually I look at trends and say, is there anything to these trends? I think there obviously is something to this trend. Wake Forest, if you've ever watched them play, they run the slow mesh, right? The play takes forever to develop. You need the running game to work. If the running game doesn't work, it doesn't work. And when you play Clemson's defensive line, that's just obviously hasn't been going. If you're down 2 starters, is Clemson defensive line still going to get the best of Wake Forest? I would think so. If Wake Forest couldn't run the ball in Liberty, they're not going to run the ball in Clemson. So that has me leaning towards the Clemson side for sure. I guess I'd be a little hesitant there, but there's injury concerns on Wake Forest as well. So that has me not paying too much attention. Sounds like 3 guys who have started in the secondary, 3 guys who started at corner for Wake Forest are not going to play in this game. So I think Clemson's going to run the ball all over them, and they should be able to hit a couple deep shots as well, even though DJU is not great. I think they're going to be able to do what Wake Forest does want to do.
Roddy, your second favorite team, Clemson. Let's hear it.
Well, I mean, I had a good laugh, watching Dabo run down that hill like he, just had stolen something. I agree with everything that JD said. I think that if we had more confidence in DJ, I don't think we would even be talking about this game at all.
I'd be lying it, no question.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be a factor. Yes, I do know the defensive issues, or the injury, should I say, are going to play a hit for Clemson. But I mean, look, Sam Hartman's like 35 years old. The offensive line is very shaky over there, even though, like I said, they have injuries on Clemson's defensive line, but I still think they can get through. And if the run game, if it doesn't get off, then it's not going to be anything spectacular. So I was actually really looking towards the under in this game. I'm not going to take it as an official play because I do think it could open up in the second half, but this is just like a total disgust with me of both offenses. Like you said, Rex, this is going to be a nasty game. But if I had to lean anywhere, it definitely would be Clemson with the 7.5, just because, I mean, the history shows they've dominated. So,
Goose, got any quick hits for this one before we wrap it up with Sam?
Yeah, so trend-wise, like college football, there's turnover every year. But in the last 10 years, Wake hasn't kept it within single digits. I know this is Wake's probably best team in that 10 years, but they just don't match up well to Clemson, in my opinion. And let's not forget, last year we had questions on Clemson's offense. They won 48-27 against Wake Forest. Clemson's just too physical, in my opinion. They wear teams down. In the first half, Clemson is winning their games 41-12. In the second half, they're winning 83-30. Their offense ends up breaking through in the second half because the defensive line is too physical. The offensive line has been physical, and they just wear teams down. So maybe you want to look at Wake. If you like Wake, I think you should take them in the first half because by the end of the game, Clemson is going to break through, and they're going to win by 10 or more points, in my opinion.
Sam, what's your last thoughts here?
I'm on the over for this one. Like Goose said, last year, Clemson's offense was god-awful, and they still put up 48 points on Wake's defense. The injuries in the secondary, I saw that JD retweeted before the stream started, and it helps me makes me like it even more. Even if DJU plays the entire game, I still think Clemson's going to be able to put up points, and we're going to probably get 17-24 from Wake as well. So give me that over.
Yep. I'm going to try to be a little bit greedy here and hopefully see if I can get less points and lay it with Clemson live. You never know. Risky. But with Wake at home, maybe. We'll see. Let's get into our next big noon game. We got Baylor going to Iowa State. Sam, you mentioned this last week. You always like where you got the home team that's unranked favored, but technically they have Baylor half a point better since they're not laying the full 3. It is what it is there, depending on your book. But we got a potential another gross game because this total is 10 points lower at 45.5. Who wants to take this one first here because there's not much eye candy. I'll be going here because I got big noon plays, but they don't come in either of these games. Sam, let's run it back with you.
Yeah, I'm going to just go back to the well. And, I mean, I don't love going against Baylor. They've already got one loss on the year. I know this is probably going to be one that's it's just a bigger game in terms of comparing it to the BYU game. They know they really need to get this win in conference play. But yeah, the -2.5, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm going to ride with that same home unranked favorite versus road ranked underdog.
Yep, there is a Matt Campbell trend out there where when you get the short spreads, his unders have been cashed just because he's played the games close. Goose, what do you got for us here?
Excuse me. I also saw a Matt Campbell trend. When the spread is between plus and minus 3.5 for Iowa State, they are 5-12. Iowa State, when it's a close game, when you expect them to win, they pull in Iowa State and they find a way to not win. The reason I like Baylor in this spot is because their defense, they cause havoc. They send pressure from different places. Their defensive line can find the quarterback. And I think the Iowa State quarterback is just going to get pressured too much. He's pretty young. I think he's a sophomore, and he has 3 interceptions in his last 2 games. I think Baylor's defense is pretty elite that they can get 2 interceptions on him today. So I would lean Baylor with the I'd just take him on the money line at this point. Short enough spread.
Well, JD, I don't know if you're happy or sad that we finally get some QB turnover in this matchup because I feel like we've had the same 3 quarterbacks starting the last 3 years in this matchup. What do you like here?
I can't trust Baylor right now. I love the program. I love Aranda, but it looks pretty clear to me they need some time to gel. The secondary is just not playing well, and they lost everybody from a year ago. So I think that's going to take some time. And then Monterey Baldwin, they're hurting for offensive weapons. They played a true freshman who was 170 pounds at running back last week. He had a great week last week, but I don't know if he's going to do that here. And then Monterey Baldwin's their only receiver who's done anything, and he missed last week with what they called a head injury. Sounds like he might play this week. So I just have too many questions with Baylor overall. It's a program I would trust more than Matt Campbell for sure, but right now I can't do it in this spot.
Roddy, any last thoughts here?
Yeah, no, I'm leaning more towards the Baylor side. Like Goose said, I do appreciate that the defense has been good this year. Corners have been barbecue chicken, though. I don't know. I think that, and I just go back to the BYU game, and I feel like there were so many opportunities for them to win that game that, against a conference opponent, knowing that they need this in order to get to this Big 12 championship later on in the season, I think they come out with a sense of urgency. So I would take the 2.5. I would not take the money line just because I'm a little scared. I'm not gonna lie.
All right,
Because
go to church. See you there.
yeah,
tomorrow
I mean, I
morning.
have to, bro. I'll be honest with you because they could have won that BYU game, but there were also points in that game where I was like, ew, like y'all, ugh. So we'll see.
Yeah, this is just one where for the college football fans, it's going to be a solid one to watch. It just seems at the noon hour, there is so many solid games, and that's where I really had to limit my betting card at that perspective here. And that's where plays ended up falling off of the card. Appreciate everyone up there in the chat. We see the Miami comment there that yes, that is one of our games. And is that the next one we got? Nope. We'll tease you. We got one more 3:30 before that one. What other comment? We got the Bulldogs. Let's hit this question for you, Roddy, before we get to the next one. They covering?
I don't know. Like it depends. If the guys are thinking about going to the bars by like mid-second quarter, they probably won't cover. So it just depends. I'm not taking 45 though with Georgia. I mean, there are going to be so many games next month and the month after that where we can confidently take those spreads, but I'm staying away from it. I mean, 45 is an outrageous number.
JD, I know you have thoughts on this one before we get to the Florida Tennessee or nothing. You want to
I'm
give
sick.
the Golden Flashes any love?
No, with so many close games, I'm so over those big spreads. Like my mind's moved on from those inflated ones. Yeah,
it's not worth it. That Florida spread is going to be like 20 something, and we'll take that one.
All right. Well, let's get to Florida at Tennessee. This is another one where I don't have the exact numbers, but I believe since I've been like 11 years old, so like 17 years ago, Tennessee's won twice.
16 of the last 17. 16
Once.
For,
Once.
Yep. So since I've been 11. Now they're laying 10.5 here. The hype is real. Heupel got that contract extension, so it's no longer the one after it, but it didn't matter. He covered a huge spread last week with ease. Richardson, you have all the memes. You have all the jokes out there. JD, I saw you retweet something that someone had him as like the second best quarterback prospect. I see he has more tackles and touchdowns thrown, like all that good stuff. Like, Roddy, we'll let you go first here because I know you definitely have some thoughts here.
Oh, Anthony Richardson. Oh my God.
Yeah, he made me look dumb after the first game when we're big time Utah. Then after that, he's just like, yeah, you guys
got to remember Pac-12 defense, man. Pac-12 defense. Look, I get, like you said, 16 out of 17. But Florida has looked very, 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 very mediocre. Defensively, offensively hasn't been as terrible because Travis Etienne's little brother has been, good in the running game. They have good weapons. It's just like Anthony is just not giving them enough in the red zone, or he's just making a dumbass mistake. So I believe in Hendon Hooker. I think last year you saw that, he was just getting, I don't know how many games he had started before this game last year. Obviously, they got smoked, but I think now that he has comfort in the offense, I think the receivers that he has this year, he has two big boy receivers now. I know one's going to be out, but I really do like Wyatt. I think he's going to be a monster today against Florida's DBs, and I laid the 10.5 with Tennessee. I really do believe in them. We were saying this, or I was saying this to the guys before we started. I wanted to get the first quarter number at like 6.5. Obviously, the books have caught up because this is a 2-year trend. But under Heupel, they've scored a touchdown in the first quarter for their last 17 games. So, I mean, obviously, Florida's going to present a better threat. But if this game was in Gainesville, I might be inclined to take the 10.5. But I don't think people really know the atmosphere of Neyland Stadium and how huge it is, one, and how intense it gets in these big rivalry games. So give me Tennessee.
Sam, let's keep it in the SEC.
Yeah, I'm leaning Tennessee as well. Neyland Stadium is going to be rocking. It's probably the biggest game they've had there, or most important game they've had there in last 10 years, at least. But yeah, I think even without Cedric Tillman, Florida gave up over 150 rushing yards, or I think it was 200 rushing yards in the swamp last week to South Florida. Anthony Richardson hasn't been great on the road. It's their first road test on the season. I lean Tennessee here. I know moment might be too big, but they don't have a real look ahead spot or anything. This is a very important one for them. They're going to want to set up a big game against Georgia later down the line. So I think they get this win, and I think they'll be able to run it up a little bit. I don't believe in Anthony Richardson right now, so he hasn't given me any reason to. He's 0 touchdowns, 3 tackles on the year. I mean, it's insane.
Goose, what do you like here?
Yeah, so I can't fully endorse Florida, but that's where I'm leaning. I just I think Anthony Richardson is the most volatile quarterback in all of college football. And week 1, when they played Utah, I know it was at home and all, but he looked great. He had 3 rushing touchdowns. He controlled the tempo. And I'm just a big believer in Billy Napier that he'll game plan a slower tempo to mess with Tennessee's fast tempo. Florida's going to want to run the ball, and they're going to try to play the possession game. They controlled it a little with Utah, and I think this game's going to be close. But Tennessee is for real, in my opinion. They could easily blow them out. I just think Anthony Richardson keeping the ball on the ground. If he doesn't have any turnovers, I think we're going to have a great game on our hands, a single-digit game.
Yep, this is a key one for my Florida team total under 7.5 from the preseason. So definitely need Tennessee to at least win here.
Mm-hmm.
JD, you got any plays for us here? Any DFS targets or anything like that?
Yeah, well, Hyatt, I'm glad I already shouted him out. He was 11.5 fantasy points on Prize Picks, so I hit that as soon as it opened. With Tillman being out, and it's already up to 13.5, so I would still take it if it's under 15. But only thing I'll say here is I'm kind of glad Goose brought that up. That was kind of my inclination for this game as well, because like what could possibly go wrong in a game Tennessee's supposed to play well in? Like I am a believer in Tennessee. I like the talent, but like what could possibly go wrong? And we could all picture it, right? I do kind of like the under, actually, which is crazy. But, yeah, I think Goose is spot on. Florida, that's the style of play they're going to try to play. If they're going to win this game, that's 1,000% what they're going to try to do. I don't know if they're going to be able, because Anthony Richardson, like now there's talk he's injured. Is it's like, well, maybe that's why he's bad. He's injured. I don't know. He's volatile. Nobody can even tell for sure if he's 100% injured. So who knows? And then Tennessee, I think, is going to lean on the ground game with Tillman out. Like I think Hooker's going to run for a lot of yards here. And, yes, they played a quick tempo, but that's going to both sides are going to keep the clock churning in this one, I think.
All right, we're churning through today's episode, which we all like to see because we got our full cards, all of our best bets coming up. We got 3 other games to be highlighting. Make sure to be dropping all of your best bets or any other plays that you want us to get into. We're about to get into Miami. We have Mo asking where Sosa's at. Seems like he's a little too scared to show up today for Notre Dame going to UNC. So, Sam, you think Sosa's scared? I'm asking all of you if you think he's scared.
I'd be scared.
If they lose this one, is the panic button time? JD's just ignoring us. I love it. Is it panic button time after this one if they drop it?
Sorry, I was checking the Clemson updates. Looks like Xavier Thomas is still out, but Tyler Davis is playing. Anyway, so 2 of those linemen should be back.
I'm pushing the panic button.
Panic button? For Notre Dame? No, I was calling out when they hired Freeman. You don't hire a first-time head coach at Notre Dame. It's going to take a while. The only reason you hired this guy is because he knows how to recruit and people like him. And apparently people liking you matters in winning football games. I don't know who the hell decided that, but everyone did. No, they're going to be bad year 1. They're quite clearly not good. You give them 2 to 3 years, and then you panic. I'm not panicking. I expected them to not be great.
Mhm.
And
Are
they're really
you just
bad.
too scared to lay the points then, essentially?
Why would we trust North Carolina? What the hell's going on here? They haven't figured out how to play defense. They get talent. Sure, they got the better quarterback, but why would we trust North Carolina? I don't understand that.
Because I don't know if Notre Dame, even against this extremely subpar
Yeah,
defense,
like
can still move the ball.
the quarterback's so
Yeah.
bad.
Oh,
Look,
they'll
if
score.
the offense
he,
can't
though?
get rolling this game, like this
They're
is
gonna run for 250. Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know if it'll be
Yeah.
enough because the quarterback sucks, and they have no
Yeah.
You had
receivers.
to poke JD enough to get the good shit out. That's all I had to
There
do
we
is
go.
keep poking the bear and then get the gems to come out. Goose, what do you like here in this one?
I don't know. Notre Dame quarterback came alive a little late in that game against Cal. I think I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. Look, Cal and Marshall, I mean, they're not like their defenses are solid-ish. Like, how bad is Notre Dame's offense? I'm wondering. They played Ohio State, Marshall, and Cal. Like, they're pretty bad. But this UNC defense is the Swiss of all Swiss. Yeah, I think if Notre Dame plays similar defense to how they played against Ohio State, they limited Stroud to 6.6 yards per throw or per completion. Like, they played really well defense for the most part. And yeah, give me Notre Dame. I think the quarterback got some swagger coming in. He led some big drives at the end. It was his first start. I don't see why not Notre Dame this game. It's UNC. Their defense is Swiss. They're going to play against too good of a defense themselves. And yeah.
Roddy, you got any action here?
Hell no. But I will be watching this game because I definitely, like you said, I want to see what Notre Dame can do offensively against a team that we know is ass on defense. Like, maybe Cal, has, a formula, or maybe Marshall. No, I can't even say that confidently.
Sunbelt's legit.
I know, but it's still like, bro, like, come on, man, give me something. But the run game will be going good. I think that'll hold them over. I'm still kind of surprised at this 55.5, though. I think maybe the low 50s might have been a little bit more appropriate. So if you're looking at a total, I maybe would lean under. But yeah, man, it's North Carolina and Notre Dame is like painful. If Notre Dame and Iowa ever play, like these two teams, do they play this year? Because I will not be watching that game.
No.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Puns.
Yeah, it will be a punning bonanza. So, but yeah, I'm not staying on anything on sides on this one. I would lean under, as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, this is probably my least favorite week on a totals perspective from team totals and all that because I still don't have one locked in prior weeks. You usually have multiple. Sam, you can wrap this one up unless JD wants to share some more thoughts other than me bullying him.
Yeah, I mean, if Notre Dame's offense ever needed a get right week, I mean, North Carolina's the time to do it. If they can't do it this week, I don't know when it's going to happen. I just hate to see the state of the Notre Dame program like this. It couldn't have happened to a better group of people, honestly. I mean, I hate it. It kills me to see, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. I mean, you had Tommy Rees looking like he wanted to kill Drew Pine last week. They should have probably let him go with Brian Kelly. I don't know what the hell, like why they decided to fight for him to stay. But I digress. I don't have anything on the game. I would hate to see Notre Dame lose. That's all I would say. I'd hate to see that.
We can tell the sincerity in your voice
Yeah.
that you really would. It would be unfortunate. Yeah.
You know, I live in Indy. It's like a Notre Dame fan hotspot. I've been hearing it all off season, so I hate to see it.
I could just tell like they haven't lost a lot of games over the last 10 years or something. Because like you lose one to Ohio State and then one bad game to Marshall, and oh my gosh,
the wheels.
Waited 10 years. At least finally they're losing.
Yeah, the wheels come rolling off.
Oh, yeah.
Someone was pretty key in those wins. It seems like.
All right, let's get to probably the game of the night, game of the day, potentially. Is KJ Jefferson fully healthy? Question mark. I think that's one of the biggest pieces because they didn't look too solid in the last game. Maybe the week of rest gets a little bit better, but Goose started off here for us with Texas A&M laying 2 to 2.5, depending on your book, with the 50.5 total.
Yeah, so transparency, I asked Rex to go first because I don't have anything on this game. I have a question for y'all. When in outside, I don't really watch SEC football. I'm Big Ten country. I feel Arkansas should be favored here, -3, which is why I don't want to bet the game. Because Texas A&M, it's a neutral site also. I know it's in Texas, but it's not in the 12th man or whatever. It's a neutral site game at Jerry World, I believe. So I look at this like Arkansas should be favored. Arkansas is going to win. So why is Texas A&M favorite? Why should I not pounce all over Arkansas?
Sam, you want to answer that, or you want me to answer that?
Anyone, like Arkansas has been looking pretty solid. I think they're one of the best SEC teams, and then Texas A&M, their offense is. I mean, I guess they came to life a little against Miami, but still, I'm not impressed at all.
No, I don't know why the books continue to overvalue Texas A&M. I mean, it makes no sense. If we're being honest, I've got an Arkansas money line ticket. I think they'll be able to dominate line of scrimmage in this game. Texas A&M hasn't been able to do much. They have less red zone possessions than Iowa this year. Iowa has more red zone possessions than Texas A&M. If that tells you how bad the offense is, I don't know. Like I know the Miami game last week. I don't think Miami's quite there like everyone wants to pronounce them. They are, but yeah, Texas A&M. The home environment helped last week, obviously, but I don't like a neutral site. It will be a good 50-50 split because it's a short drive for both schools. Arkansas is trending upwards. I know like their offense didn't look great. It was a clear look ahead spot last week though. They found a way to win the game. And what we saw last year with a better Texas A&M team and probably a worse Arkansas team, like the way to beat Arkansas this year is pass the ball, and Texas A&M can't do that. So it'll be weakness on weakness, and I think Arkansas strengths are better than Texas A&M. So I understand like the books have Arkansas as an underdog, but I think they continue to overvalue Texas A&M for some reason.
JD, what are you liking here?
It's kind of the same thing with Miami last week. I mean, obviously, I value Arkansas as a program a lot more than Miami. But yeah, like, why would I play Texas A&M as a favorite? Like Sam's correct. They're overvalued and we know it. I don't think I can fully trust this Arkansas team right now is the unfortunate thing because the passing game's still kind of figuring some things out. Like you mentioned, KJ Jefferson, he's always hurt because he does everything for this team. And you can't take a million hits every single week. He somehow figures out to do it. I love that kid. Absolutely love him. I'll be rooting for him hard here. Yeah, definitely not betting Texas A&M. That's all I got to say.
Well, that's where this game has the potential, I think, here to fly over the total if both offenses can just get it clicking enough because there's weaknesses on both of the sides there. Where if you forced me to take a play here, I mean, the Arkansas money line sitting at like a short +115 as a baby dog. Don't hate that either, but I do think they get more than 23 or 24 points on the board, depending where your team total is at. So if you had to make me force one, that's probably where I'd look. I just don't know if they're going to start off cooking on the road right away. Might take a few possessions to get rolling. But what do we got left? One game. Oh, is this one the one that screams upset alert of all the games that we talked about with the USC headed into Corvallis? The Beavers hungry? JD, we got to let you start with this one because Pac-12, you probably talk a year about this game, so let's hear it.
He's the only one that's going to be able to watch this game, though. So, I mean, tell us what happened, JD.
Well, we got him up at 8 a.m., so I don't know if he's going to last at 8 a.m.
Yeah, the networks dropped the ball on that one. I guess they said like USC has bigger games later in the year, but they're pretty stupid. This is a big game. And yeah, if it's close in the fourth quarter and it's on Pac-12 networks, like you guys messed up pretty good here. Okay, so Oregon State on one hand, I love the program, but when they step up in competition, it doesn't always go so well because they're just at a massive talent disadvantage, and being at a talent disadvantage against this USC team is very scary to me. I lean with the over. So if you want my full thoughts, check out. I wrote this game up for Covers. Check it out, covers.com. I think both teams are going to move the ball. I don't trust USC's defense whatsoever. They're especially rushing wise. I think Deshaun Fenwick, Oregon State, they always scheme up a good rush attack. Damian Martinez, the freshman, I think you'll see them all in the end zone. The passing attack's looking good for Oregon. I think Oregon State's going to score for sure. And USC, they're going against Oregon State's defense, who sure has performed well, but this was a huge weakness a week ago. And like I said, they're just in the secondary. You think they're going to be able to hang with Jordan Addison and whatnot? I don't know. There are some rumors about Caleb Williams being a little banged up, so maybe he won't be fully at his best rushing the ball, which scares me off a little bit. But I think this one goes over the total. And then Oregon State is money at home, so that might make up for some of the talent disadvantage. Like if they're able to control the clock, like I think they'll be able to control the clock. USC is not going to force 4 turnovers every single game for the entire year. Oregon State's game plan lends to bleeding out the clock, kind of like Goose was talking about with Florida. I just think they're just going to move the ball extremely efficiently all game long. So I lean towards the underdog and I lean towards the over.
I like it. If this was a Friday night game, I think I'd be all over Oregon State because the crazy stuff happens usually Friday night in the Pac-12. It's just Oregon State, I've said it, I think, each week. They have the toughest schedule, in my opinion, of all the college football teams out there. So that's kind of where they're going to need what JD says. Crazy stuff, or Sosa said the other day, wonky stuff happens sometimes in Corvallis. But this is where they're going to need all that voodoo to come through on top. That's -6 is a lot of respect because this is usually double digits easy year in, year out. And it's from how they showed up the past weeks. Should they be ranked? Different question for a different show, but this is a statement game for them to really have the program turn around. I mean, if I would like the 7, you could give me that, but 70.5, I think you just have to go with the total here. It's the easiest way to do it, as JD alluded to. Goose, you got anything here? I don't think Goose like beavers, right? They probably fight.
Beavers are pretty dope, though. They build dams. But I'm leaning USC with this one. Like, I get it. Oregon State is a hard place to play, but USC, I feel like, has transitioned very well under Lincoln Riley. Their offense is clicking. Jordan Addison, what is he? 5 touchdowns in 3 games. And Caleb Williams, he's looking like the real deal. He fits the system perfectly. Jordan Dye, I think that's the running back's name. This USC offense is clicking, and I just think it'll be too much at the end of the day. The over, I think, is a good look also. The over should have hit last week for USC. Fresno State's quarterback went down. Also, they kicked a field goal on the 3-yard line in the first half. I hated that. But I just I lean the over for this one. I just like USC. I think they come out on top. And it sounded like with you guys talking, the Pac-12 network isn't too commonly owned. So Rex, come to Butch Cole's in Rahway, New Jersey. We'll have the game on tonight. We get all the channels, and we'll have USC on a pretty big.
I was going to say, Goose, I don't know if you'll remember seeing me there. If this game starts at 9:30 Eastern and your game starts at 7 or 7:30,
I'll be there at halftime probably.
I'll get your seat warm for you because you'll be a little chilly.
Yeah.
Sam or Roddy, you guys got anything to wrap up here before we run through all of our plays? And then we got some comments I want to hit on, grill some of you. You already know the deal.
Yeah, this is about to be a smoke out, my boys. It's about to be a smoke out. I get the respect that Oregon State is getting. Obviously, you got to take into account that the wins that they did get recently were against a team that was coached by Clay Helton. So it all kind of evens out now. It seems like if you look at the landscape of the Pac-12, like you drop Lincoln Riley in there, and it's like dropping Iron Man back in 1925. Like it's like, whoa, we've never seen offense like this before in the Pac-12. So they're going to be able to stretch the field too well. They have the best receiver in college football easily. I don't think this is close. Like the 6, like you said, is respect purely because they're about to get smoked.
Sam, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I hit the over earlier this week at 68 even. So I'm playing that. Just looking at common opponent, they've played Fresno State the last 2 weeks. USC put up 45, or Oregon State put up 35. I think they'll be able to kind of go back and forth, but I think USC is just too good and pulls away late. Probably going to end up playing USC -6. Take the cheese. I know they're probably the most bet team this week against the spread. So, but with the number under a touchdown, I like them in that spot.
People were saying Oregon State was like the most common bet. Like, well, that one guy put out a tweet, like the most action has come in on Oregon. He tweeted on like a Wednesday or something, but more action than any NFL game this week. I was like, that seemed very, very strange to me. But
Very strange.
Apparently, people love the Beavers.
Do we got any thoughts on the Miami game? I saw that was one of the questions that we had here. Anyone got a play on that in their cards? I didn't think they did.
No, but their receiver's trash, bro. Jesus is Lord. And Tyler Van Dyke got away with a lot of throws that were like, oh, they kind of look close on TV, but like when you actually watch it back, like that was not a good throw. So,
Goose, were you
they're going to take some time
yourself with that one? I saw you smirking after you put it in.
Beaver Pack.
Pacquiao.
Now, Beavers are dope, though.
We have Miami Chuck, who's rocking the USC -7. Definitely hope that's not the Gamecocks because I don't think they could cover that, even though they're laying a lot more today.
Who they got?
Charlotte.
Oh, okay. Hopefully the fans stay in this the student section past the second quarter.
Sam, 31.5. Confident?
Not necessarily. I did get it under. I did hit it earlier this week at 29.5.
Bro, it's New Mexico. You're not confident?
I mean, Kayshawn's out. It's who knows.
Congrats to him, by the way.
I know they go to Auburn. I don't know if it's a look ahead spot necessarily, but it's usually a big game. So probably just get in, get out, try and stay healthy. I'd lean under if anything. I don't know how much New Mexico is going to be able to score against this defense. Matt House looks like he's got the guys rolling. So I know New Mexico is one of the worst teams efficiency-wise on offense. So I'd lean under if I had to make a pick for LSU game.
Goose, your punter's going to get the best film of all time today, and you're going to get to see it in person. You hyped to watch some punts?
Yeah, man. Adam Korsak doesn't have the strongest leg, but it's like the dude has a wedge in his hand. He places it perfectly every time. The dude doesn't get touchbacks. Like, Iowa's punter is really good. He has a strong boot. But he doesn't, like, he'll get touchbacks. The Rutgers is going to pin them within the 5, maybe twice tonight. I can't wait. Big advantage special teams. We're also going to run back a kick. Adam Cruikshank is a great return man. He's due for a return. Transfer from Wisconsin's been at Rutgers for a little. Had a kick return in the Rose Bowl a couple years ago. Special teams wins games.
Well, I just wanted to hit on those 2 games because we essentially have every other big game covered today in our best bets from one of us. So let's get rolling through our full cards. Goose, you can lead it off for us this week since your vibes are the highest for your squad tonight. So let's hear what you're playing.
So I'm going to be on Clemson -7.5. I just think they match up well against Wake. I'm going to take South Florida +14.5. They're playing Louisville today. South Florida has been able to run the ball really well. They almost beat Florida. They lost only by, I think, single digits to Florida. And Louisville can't stop the run. So I think this will be a semi-close game. I'm going to also go SMU money line. They it's at +110. They play TCU. Big emotional game for SMU. They're rocking the light blue Dallas jerseys. Their old coach is at TCU right now, and the total's at 70.5. It's going to be a shootout. Give me SMU at home with all the buzz going around this game. Give me Marshall and Troy under 51.5. Troy's got a good defense. And we saw Marshall, they got a pretty solid defense as well. But Troy has one of the best defenses in the Sun Belt. And I think this game stays under. Troy's at home. They'll control the pace. And then lastly, we'll finish off with USC, -6. Just told you why a couple minutes ago. I think the talent is just there for USC.
All right, JD, your plays and then any player props or drop where they can find all that good stuff at as well.
Yeah. I guess I'm fighting Goose with my first play.
Love it. The Iron Skillet has to be a fight, right?
Battle for the Iron Skillet, the Sonny Dykes Bowl. Yeah, I don't like trusting Sonny Dykes in a big game, which is kind of funny. But I've just seen SMU fall flat so much. Like, they'll beat bad teams, and then I just can't trust them. I watched that Maryland game, and it's not clicking. They need the wide receivers, and they only have one. So I think TCU is going to be able to run the ball very well. And it's Sonny Dykes. They're going to throw the ball too. So I like TCU there. Missouri +7.5. They're playing Auburn. It's Auburn. They have a lame duck head coach. In Missouri, they might have a lame duck head coach too, but we don't know that yet. We know Brian Harson's a lame duck. That guy is a joke. So
he gets a baddie, though. He gets a baddie.
Yeah, no for Harson. That was the last week. That was embarrassing.
Very.
Arizona +3.5 against Cal. I just like this Arizona team. They keep being underdogs and they keep winning outright. Unless they're playing an SEC team, they're not. They're playing Cal. What on earth is Cal? Why would we be scared of Cal? We're not. +3.5. Give it to me. Last underdog. I only have 4 plays. Smaller. Again, I'm just so stoked to watch these games. Like, so they're so close. Like, there's going to be so many good games that are going right up to the wire. Anyway, I'm taking Ball State +9.5 against Georgia Southern. This is just a Clay Helton fade for me. Everyone fell in love with them because, oh my God, they're throwing the football. Wow, this new offense, so exciting. We've never seen a forward pass before. You don't transition from the triple option to the air raid overnight and make it easy. Sure, you beat Nebraska. Again, they had a lame duck head coach. You can't read too much into those games because those teams, you can't trust them. Their quarterback, okay, he's going to throw the ball a lot. He leads the entire country in turnover-worthy passes. So I just don't understand why I would trust them. So I'm just fading Clay Helton.
Roddy, what do you got for us today?
All right. So I want to start in Minnesota, and I am going to take the Gophers -3. I mean, they're just about to run all over Michigan State today. I don't think it's not about to be close. I'm also, with the guys, I think we all consensus had USC -7. I'm going to add that one to my card. So go ahead and put that down. And y'all were giving me hell for saying this and taking this play, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to put my hard-earned money on Bo Nix away from his home stadium. I know it's not usually a wise thing to do. Okay, I get it. But I do like Oregon. Maybe I'm biased because Dan's over there, and I really believe in Dan and his defensive principles. I think Wazoo is really, really bad. I think they got a blessing when they played Wisconsin, and I wasn't really impressed with their DBs either. I think they can stretch the field. I know Sam told me that Bo Nix never hits that deep ball that's wide open. All he's got to do is hit the receiver in the hands, and it never gets there. But it's going to get there today, baby. You got to speak it into existence. So give me Oregon -7 too. I was just talking about Wisconsin and how bad they were. So I'm taking Ohio State -4.5 in the first quarter of that game. It's in the horseshoe. I mean, it should be a relatively easy cash. And then for my last play, actually I have 2 more. For my last play in the SEC country, at least, I'm taking Texas A&M. I know y'all are going to hate me. I know y'all think I'm crazy. But Evan Stewart will be back today. Max Johnson was not that great last week. I get it. I know. But again, KJ Jefferson, I don't know how healthy he is. I think they'll get just enough. I'm not even going to watch the game because it's going to be painful. I'm going to just look at the score. But if you can get the -1.5, I would take it. I would not take the -2.5. I don't know if it's changed. But yeah, I got A&M and Jimbo, man. I'm not happy about it either. So, but that is just what I see. I think it's one of those things where the tide's gonna turn eventually with them. So give me A&M. And then whenever your coach is met by the president of the school and the AD on the field after a loss, you have to fade them afterwards. So give me Utah.
That's not even the worst part of him being fired at this point. Like after
No,
what came out
yeah, I was about to say,
yesterday,
hold
oh
on.
my God.
When your own coaching staff is willing to risk their own jobs and really careers, because who the hell is going to hire somebody that hated somebody so much that they were willing to give information to opposing teams? Okay. So give me Utah 9.5 tonight, because they're what? And that's it, man.
All right. Well, Sam, do we have to buckle up? Is it a CVS receipt today? Minimum one. Who knows? Let's hear it.
No, we're going with 7 again. Sticking to kind of what we did last week. We'll have more off to the side, but just 7 we like a lot to give out on the show. My personal bet slip is probably more like a CVS receipt, but I'll just go over 2 ones that I've already given out. Clemson over 55.5, and then Arkansas money line as well. I'm just going to keep fading A&M. I don't care at this point. They don't look good. And if you have fewer red zone possessions than Iowa on the year, the offense is just absolute trash. But then we're going to ride with Goose and go against JD, SMU money line. I think the emotion's way too high. College football is the most emotional sport in the world. I like SMU in a revenge game at home. We're going to go Michigan first half, Michigan full game. Michigan is 14-1-1 in their last 16 first half spreads in the regular season. So I'm going to ride with Michigan there. I don't believe in Maryland against a physical team like Michigan. Then we're going to go Tulsa plus 21.5. I don't know if the number's still at that, but grabbed that yesterday. I think Ole Miss is in a look-ahead spot. They have a home game against a top 10 Kentucky team next week. Tulsa is playing – they cover against Power 5 teams. At least they may keep it close, and I like Ole Miss in a look-ahead spot. And then we're going to fade road Bo Nix, 16 touchdowns, 16 picks in his career on the road or away from home. And his completion percentage drops 10 percentage points to 55% on the road. So I like Wazoo at home there. I think Oregon's due to come down a little bit. That was a big win for them last week. And I could see them losing outright. Like, it's just the Bo Nix experiment. Everybody has seen it happen. I don't know why Roddy has watched it happen over and over again, and he's still going with them. Like, he knows what's going to happen, and he's choosing to trust him.
They can run the ball. They can run the ball.
They better be able to, because he's going to be asked. So, and then we'll close it out. USC, Oregon State over 68. Grabbed that earlier this week. So that'll complete the card.
Damn, I think I might be the winner with the most plays for today then.
You said you love the board.
Hey, Rex, hold on. You have to say what you wrote in the doc for your
for
Michigan
each of the
play.
plays.
Yeah, for your Michigan play especially.
All right, I've been debating between the first half and the full game for Michigan. I know Sam doubled up. I've been thinking about doubling up, but I'm just going to go with the first half -10. We cashed on them last game on Michigan, and it's more just because what does Maryland do? Kind of how JD alluded to when Oregon State plays big competition. Little to it is just whoosh. Last year, wasn't it like 59-18? I don't think this game has ever been close other than the one time where they won. It's covered 17 in their 10 meetings. I just think, especially at home, I think Michigan just rolls them. I think McCarthy actually might play 3/4 of football today, surprisingly enough. And if he does that, I think they cover the 10 easy in the first half. And if they're not covering it, Roddy said, I will lay my 401k at half on whatever the full game spread is.
There we go, baby.
Yeah,
There
that's
we go.
definitely a live potential look. We're doubling down because last night we covered laying a first half spread with the basketball school, but now I got two basketball schools playing each other. I think Duke's ass. They played Northwestern and Temple so far in the FCS team. I'm laying the first half, the 4 with Kansas on DraftKings at -115 to 4.5. I'd still do it. The hook sucks, but yeah, Kansas offense, their full game team total is 35.5. Their first half 17.5. Just didn't like the hooks on those, but I think they do pass the team total, so I like that there. I'm too scared to rock with JD on the 7.5 with Mizzou, but if Auburn's really going to go out, there's one way you got to do it. Tank Bigsby, I think he's the best efficient rusher, the second best efficient rusher this year. His total yards is at 83.5. I'm not the college football props guy. JD is, but we see Missouri's rush defense. We kind of saw what happened when they faced a running quarterback and when they faced Kansas State. So I think Tank easily goes over 35.5 today. That's the only, if my job's on the line, there's one player I'm giving it to in that Auburn offense 20 times today, and it's him, and he should get over 83.5. Now we get into the part where we're fading the teams that looked great or came off the big wins. I like Texas Tech +7 -110. Easy enough. I just don't think Texas is it. Take the points there. James Madison +7 -125. App State with that miracle win. We're fading the team that's riding the juice off of that one there. Louisiana Tech +13.5 -110. Same method there. South Alabama barely gets the L at UCLA. I think they cover 2 touchdowns there. When you're giving me the touchdown points there, I like it. The nightcap game, I don't think anyone's touched it yet. Oklahoma, I'm laying the first half -7.5 at even. Kansas State can't throw the ball. I just think Oklahoma's defense isn't anything to write home about. I think Grinch has easy enough to script it here. They got to get it. Or no, Venables got to get it here. My bad. He's got to get it here with the defense side. I just think you can limit Kansas State here. I think they're a trendy underdog today. And to wrap it up, you guys alluded to it. A coach got fired because he was getting handed game script. Eastern Michigan will lose today. So I'm rocking Buffalo Bulls money line +205.
Ooh, okay.
You can take the +7. It was just my theme of fading the big teams that got the win. You can take the 7 if you don't want that, but I'll take the Buffalo on the money line to be the hungry dog. A lot of action at noon, but it is what it is.
Love it.
I think that's 8, please.
Okay.
If I can count.
No excuses, not make no money today, people.
Yeah,
no
8
excuses.
All right, Sam, you want to wrap it up for us today? I'm tired. I've talked a lot.
It's a great day. I mean, it's a great slate. We got a lot of energy, a lot of plays. Let's go out and have a good Saturday. Let's go make some money. Go Rutgers, go Tigers, go Bulldogs. I can't say go Irish, but good luck, JD.
Yeah.
Like, retweet, follow, sub, follow JD shit on covers and Fantasy Pros as well. He has his DFS video. You're a little too late for that, but on Thursdays he runs that. So be tapped in with all of his outlets there. He's crushing the game in that aspect. The Players Ball 1. Roddy's got you covered with that NFL action as well. And you already know Sunday morning quarterbacks is tomorrow, where you see most of us as well for your Sunday football slate.
And Spaces at 9 p.m.
Ooh, shout out.
I don't show up for that. You guys are wild. But we appreciate everyone tapping in. We'll catch you all next week, tomorrow. We appreciate everyone. We out.
Fuck it. Take the 45.